What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video. This time I'm taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after his disastrous non-Street Fighter playthrough where he refused to cough up $10 for his PSN network so that he could play Street Fighter online. The man actually thought, spending $10 and possibly earning up maybe 100 or so bucks in tips plus super chats, refused to cough up $10. Oh my lord, it's a miracle he didn't ask someone to donate $10 so that he could pay for it. Anyway, he decided to just not play and just do a 2-hour of boring Q&A, where it got so sad that he actually threw on a hat without hitting the tier 2 tip goal. He wore the Dumas hat, and man, it was pretty sad and pathetic. So let's see what Phil has to say.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Friday, the 13th of January 2023. So, of course, if something was going to go wrong on any day, it would be Friday the 13th, and today was no exception. But
no, Phil, nothing went wrong. I mean, well, something did go wrong, but you can't blame, Friday the 13th or your failure to plan, and to know what the hell's going on with your business as an excuse. You essentially didn't want to pay your bill for your PSN network, and you weren't sure why and what happened. And oh my God, this isn't witchcraft. What essentially happened, Phil, was when you initially signed up for the new PSN Plus service, you only paid for 1 month. And what ended up happening was Sony, what they did was, if you paid for the 1 year, if you say you had paid for the original 1 year, which was $69, they put you into that new platinum or ultimate plan, and they gave you credits based on how many months you had left in the year. So for you, it was about 3 months, and you failed to understand that or know that or even research it. And I know you were trying to say, oh, I was playing Street Fighter and I wasn't paying for PSN, so why did it stop? And you tried blaming Sony, but no, it's just your fault and your inability to understand how things work.
But overall, today was actually quite a great streaming day. I had a great time with all of you. So let's get down to it, shall we? So today, we started off with the Level 1 podcast, and we didn't have too much in-depth stuff to really do. We had a little bit of gaming news to cover, including some bad news about Ubisoft, but some good news about an upcoming Microsoft press conference, among other things. Then we talked in general, just, back and forth a little bit with Q&A and stuff like that. Nothing too overly important on the Level 1 podcast today, besides kind of talking about the schedule coming up this week now that we know what new playthroughs are coming up, including One Piece, as well as Oblivion, and we have to choose a new survival horror game tomorrow night, which we'll talk about. Anyway, so after the Level 1 podcast, we started off with One Piece Odyssey, which I have purchased and decided to play as a full playthrough here on DSP Gaming. Went really well. Now, did we have insanely over-the-top crazy attendance? No, we did not. I was not expecting that. I would say probably the entire time that I played One Piece, I would expect around 200 to 300 viewers tops. I would be shocked if we maintained more than 300 viewers for any part of that playthrough. It's a niche playthrough for me. It's JRPG. It's One Piece, which is an established manga anime. But it's a good game. I played it for 3 hours. We got out of Chapter 1 intro segment and get into Chapter 2, which is actually the beginning of the beat of the story. The gameplay elements are fun and sound. The graphics are good. The music is very good. We had some fun unlocks like alternate outfits for the characters. Some lore was discussed between myself and my audience, which was really fun. Support was good. It was. We had people gifting memberships. We had a good amount of tips, hitting the tier 2 tips goal for the day. Overall, went really well for a first stream of One Piece. If this is a sign of things to come for the rest of the playthrough, I feel this playthrough is going to be absolutely outstanding. Of course, you don't know if that's going to be maintained throughout the rest of the playthrough or not, but as for a start, I couldn't complain at all. It was really, really great, okay? Now let's talk about tonight's late stream. This one I will take full responsibility for. I said, why not, as a random late night stream on a Friday night, do Friday Night Fights? Now, if you remember, Friday Night Fights used to be when I would do old school fighting games, including Street Fighter, and then with this Capcom Fighting Collection, there's other games in there, such as the Darkstalkers franchise and Gem Fighter Minimix. So I said, let's do that tonight, right? On a one-off. Just, I've been craving old school Street Fighter. And we go to do it, and everyone's here for it, and it's starting up, and I realized, oh no, I made a grave mistake. So here's the deal. I used to always maintain a PlayStation Plus membership because I always played games online on my PlayStation. The last console generation, this was very much the case. Then, this console generation, I got PlayStation 5 first. So again, I always had a PlayStation Plus membership. Then, I got my Xbox Series X, and now I tend to split games between the consoles. But for the most part, I usually play games online with the Xbox. Why? Well, number one, because I really like the Xbox controller's feel for multiplayer games. And number two, because I get surround sound on Xbox. So if I'm playing Call of Duty, obviously I want to play it on Xbox so I can get true surround sound and hear the enemy's, placement a lot better. And so, I've been playing absolutely everything on Xbox, and because of that, I haven't really been actively thinking too much about PlayStation Plus or anything like that. So during the summertime of last year, I had the PlayStation Plus Premium service. This is when I got the Platinum tier. We were able to get all of those games in the Platinum tier. We were actually live streaming them via the cloud. I was downloading some of them. We actually had a few days where we played those games. It was really fun, right? But then what happened was, as the hardcore gaming season of the fall hit, I didn't really care about it anymore. I stopped renewing it. I let it lapse. But surprisingly enough, I was still able to play games online. I actually did several different Friday Night Fights streams of old school Street Fighter on a whim during that time period, and they still worked. Now, I don't know if it's Sony made an error and therefore I was still getting the online connectivity without paying for it, or maybe I actually had some months left over of standard PlayStation Plus, and then when I upgraded to the premium package, maybe there was still some leftover months at the tail end, so when I stopped playing for premium, I still had the online of the regular. I really don't know what it was.
Yes, moron. That's what happened. When you signed up for this program, and I remember you did a whole pod when you did your podcast and you were going over this, that's what it specifically said. You essentially grandfathered your existing membership, which was the regular PSN, which was $70 for the year. Whatever months you had left over, they kind of prorated that into the new account. So since you were doing month to month, you probably had 2 or 3 months that they tacked on to your account. It's not hard, Phil. This isn't difficult. This isn't witchcraft. It's not, you don't need, the Illuminati playbook to understand, this cryptic message. It's pretty simple, Phil. And you sit here and you just act like a dunderhead and just refuse to this is something that takes 2 minutes to research. But the problem is, besides all that, it was just $10 to renew for another month. Why didn't you just renew for another month? 10 months. You add $20 that somebody dropped at the beginning of the playthrough for you to play Street Fighter. So you should have took the L and spent the $10. And you probably would have had games, retro games or whatever that you could have played, being that you're scrounging around for content.
But basically, all throughout like the end of 2022, I still had the ability to play online on PlayStation, even though I wasn't paying for it. Okay, I stopped paying for PlayStation Plus Premium like September or October, so it was like 2-3 months I wasn't paying for it, and I was still playing online. Tonight, I go to do it. We boot up the game. Oh no! It pops up. You gotta pay, and I was like, "Well, how much is it? $10." And here's the thing: with my live audience, we talked about it. I was like, "Dude, what do I actually play on my PlayStation right now, and what am I going to play online?" The answer is very simple. Nothing. I'm not going to be playing anything online on my PlayStation besides maybe old school Street Fighter. Is that worth $10? No, it's not. It would be if the Capcom Fighting Collection had a big chunk of players playing it. If I was guaranteed that if I paid $10 and I went into it, I'd get a robust community, a variety of matches, good connections, everyone playing and having a good time. It's not been my experience. In fact, the last 2 to 3 times I played it, it was like pulling teeth getting matches, or not just playing the same 2 people in a row over and over and over. And a lot of those times in a 2-hour session, I only played for like 45 minutes, and the other hour and 15 was just Q&A with my audience. So that being said, we were all...
Phil, you spend $10 a day on your breakfast for your that DoorDash, morning DoorDash. It's $10, Phil. It's $10. If you can't afford $10, you really seriously need to consider getting a job. Really getting a job. Because it's just $10. And the mere fact that you don't understand that there's a big collection of video games within the PlayStation, a lot of exclusives, a lot of good exclusives, you can actually play one of them because you know you're scrounging around for content. That's the reason why you're playing One Piece, because you had no other option. So, in January, you still need some content. So you could have one night pulled one of these games up and just played it. But yeah, you're just too short-sighted. You thought, no, that $10, I can use that on my WWE Champions pool. That's what you thought. What you should have did, and I'm shocked you didn't do it, was ask one of your den heads to tip you $10 so that, you can pay for it. But,
Thinking about it, like, you know what, it's not worth it. So I have to call an audible. It's totally my fault. I apologize to my live audience, and instead we did open Q&A pretty much all night. It was almost 2 hours, like an hour 30, hour 45 minutes, something like that. It went really well. It went by like this. We talked about a wide variety of topics. People were actually very supportive. The attendance was good. The engagement was good. The support was actually good. For a random ass stream like that out of the blue, I was shocked that I got the amount of support that I did. And once again, I managed to avoid answering dumb ass troll questions, because the trolls were here and man, they were trying to get me with like $1 tips asking about private shit. I said, nope, we're not doing that. Instead, it was a very positive and fun and interactive stream with my true fans and viewers. And
Phil, I clipped you talking about 1 Minute Man and the trolls and all that. You didn't. Oh God, Phil, you took the bait and you talked about it, and yeah, you didn't spend a great deal talking about trolls and detractor and stuff like that. But you took the bait and you actually did it. And the good thing is you gave me some content, so I appreciate that.
I managed to avoid most of the trolling pretty successfully. It was a good one. I actually really enjoyed it because I haven't done a Q&A stream like that in a very long time. During the fall, there was a couple streams that went bad that we ended up doing it consistently. But then after that, I haven't done one in months. So actually just doing it with this new setup, by the way, with the new visual.
When your capture card went down and all that other stuff that happened, that's all you did was just Q&A. What are you talking about? And you do Q&A every single day on your podcast because you don't have anything to talk about.
Rules and everything. People really seemed to enjoy it and had a good time. So I'm going to upload that right now. There's no gameplay from tonight's late stream. It's just going to be that Q&A video and this daily wrap, and that is it. All right. So let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's an interesting day. Tomorrow on the Level 1 podcast, I'd like to discuss two things: the future of shorts on DSP Gaming, as well as the future of those missing playthroughs that we found on the hard drives and how we can tackle them, i.e. how we can upload them without it being intrusive to those who don't care about them. I think we should talk about this at length tomorrow on the podcast. It should be our major discussions, so that way we can maybe get some ideas on what to do. Maybe we can even come to a determination and determine, hey, should I start uploading those playthroughs or not? Let's talk about this tomorrow morning and figure that out, okay? Then,
all right, I'm gonna leave it at this because first of all, I don't feel like watching another ad, and secondly, Phil had nothing else to say. It's pretty dull. But the funny thing was, I'm glad it's funny how he didn't bring up that he wore an actual hat, because he was trying to grift and essentially convince his den, say, hey, don't forget about these awesome tier rewards. And look, I'm wearing a hat. We didn't hit the $100 goal. We should hit the $100 goal. It was kind of like, it was kind of like an ice cream man, at an elementary school, and he's basically dangling, an ice cream sundae in front of kids' faces. That's essentially what Phil did last night. So it was pretty pathetic. Definitely check out a couple of my videos where I made fun of Phil, where he took the bait from the trolls and spouted off about fake 1 Minute Man and all this other garbage that he essentially had nothing to talk about yesterday. So instead of again paying $10 for PlayStation Network, so he could play Street Fighter, he decided to pocket that $10 and then grift his members. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.